Hello, Marketing 3 students. Welcome to the class. Even there's no one at the moment, I'm just hoping that maybe able to join us in. But I feel like there's been a confusion that there's no class this week. This week there's a class, and I've also communicated that in the group, and I've sent a link in our WhatsApp group. And if one of you guys might want to join in the group, then it is fine. But I hope you are going to come across the record link on Core Campus. So I hope you are now refreshed since you've done submitting all the assessments that we're doing last week. So this week is marking week for us, the lecturers, and we are busy assessing your assessments. I've already marked the test for everyone in this class, unless if there are some of the students that I have not yet seen in class, but everyone that I've engaged with in class, your test has been marked. And your performance has been so good. It was on average. The highest mark is 88%. And the lowest is 8%. So I'm not going to mention the name because the names of those marks, because the marks need to be moderated. Of course, they need to be audited to verify if I was fair, I wasn't too harsh, and I also wasn't too lenient. So most of you guys did well. As I've always mentioned, it is very, very advisable, very crucial to attend class sessions. And if you cannot attend class sessions, please do engage with the available collaterals, available resources for this subject. We've got lecture notes that are updated and uploaded on Core Campus every week. We do have physical class sessions in room 9. We also have recorded links like this session I'm going to record and upload on Core Campus. So there are many resources available even for you as a marketing students. You need to read wider. You need to consult available academic sources on the internet and even the local libraries, or engage with other students on most of the aspects that we cover in class. So please do engage. If you want to pass this subject, you need to attend classes regularly. You need to engage with your lecturer. You need to engage with other students. You need to engage with available resources such as the prescribed textbook that we have. So if you just sit back and think a Google search is going to help you pass this module, then you are going to fail. You need to be able to question some of the marketing theories that you come across, be able to offer an objective critique to apply these things into reality. So most of you guys did well. We're only covering chapter 1 to chapter 3. And the test itself wasn't that difficult. It was very straightforward. And these are the terms that you guys were supposed to be very familiar with. You're supposed to be familiar with product orientation, production orientation. So there's a difference between product orientation and production orientation. You're supposed to have a look at sales orientation. You're supposed to discuss marketing orientation, cause-related marketing, social marketing, and universal value. We have already covered this, and this should be a revision. And the source, as you can see on the right column, the source is from the textbook that we have. So I've realized that most of you guys, the real struggle was that you did not have enough time. I've always mentioned this, like I saw many gaps, many sections where answers were not provided, and I think you were just rushing to submit the assignment. so that it has to be on the record that you have submitted the assignment. So there was very poor preparation, but with most of you guys, you actually did very well. Even though you struggled with articulating your argument, when someone talks about a user, a payer, or a buyer, we have discussed these things in class, and they are not available on Core Campus. So if you struggled to discuss a payer, a user, and a buyer, and the differences between those three roles in a customer, please go and revisit the textbook. And you also need to make sure that you are well aware, aware of the time given for the assignment. We're given a week, even though we had Easter holidays, but we're given a week to prepare this assignment. The brief was done a month earlier, so you had more time. You had more time to prepare on this assignment. Benton, how are you? I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning. How are you?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear
Oh,
you.
great. I can also hear you. I think my mic was on mute. So welcome to class. It seems it's only you and me for now. As I was saying, I was pre-recording this class because there was no one yet. So I've just started anyway. I'm on the third slide. How was the test? How was the test, Benton?
Mm.
I can't hear you at all.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, I was saying like it wasn't that complicated, but it also wasn't as easy as Yeah, it was basically like if if I had not studied, I was gonna fail. But since I studied, like it wasn't that bad.
Okay. So what is it that you think you struggled a lot with?
Mm, I think I struggled with because we are supposed to. I'm still looking for the right words because like you're supposed to apply the you're supposed to basically like in a way like research and apply, like you go through a textbook to look for like some of the answers and then in some of the terms, I mean, and then you apply them to the case study. So I think that was
Hmm.
like a bit tricky for me.
Okay. All right. I got that, especially there was a question. I'm done marking, by the way. So there was a question that spoke about being the three roles of a customer: a user, a payer, and a buyer. And I realized that you struggled with that. That's
Yes, yeah, actually that
mm.
was one of those questions. Yes, it was. It was.
And to some extent, if I remember, you were not in class. You were not yet in class when we discussed this.
Yes, I
So
wasn't.
yeah, I challenge you to go and look at notes. And I know that those notes are on Core Campus. For lesson 3, if I remember, like how can be a customer be a payer, a user, and a buyer? So those are the three roles of a customer.
Okay,
But
so it's good.
we can briefly discuss that. So when you want to get something from the shops, if you are the one who is taking the money out of your wallet to get that thing, you are the payer. You are paying for that item. Then if you are the one who is actually going to the shops to get the items and you actually stand at the till point and pay the money to the cashier, you are a buyer. Then if you move on and go and use that product, you are a user. So there's a payer, a buyer, and a user. Normally it's within the same person, but it can also be within three different people. I'll give you an example. If you don't work and you're in a family, your father or your mother takes the money out of their pockets to give you so that you can go to the shops to buy. Then it means that your mother or your father is the payer. They are the ones who paid for that thing. Then you going to the shops, it means you are the buyer. You are the one who went to the shops and buy that thing. Then let's say once you bought that thing and you bring it home, your sister or your brothers use it, they are the user. So this can be within the same person, or it can be within three different people or two different people. Does it make any sense?
Yes, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yes.
Now
So
I understand.
when looking at the technophone that we're describing, so realize that with the technophone, someone can be payer, so they are providing funding for that phone, and someone can be the buyer, the one who actually had the buying experience of getting it from the shop, and someone can be the user. So it can be a father who is asking you, the big brother, to go and buy the techno for your little sister. So you've got three different people who are involved into that decision of having that techno. But sometimes it can be you. You have got your own money, you go to the shops to get the techno, and you are also the one who is going to use it. So in terms of the value, it's different because remember, we're talking about the value. So in terms of the value, it's different. The experience that the payer is going to have, and the experience that the buyer is going to have, and the experience that the user is going to have, those are going to be completely different. So the payer can have the value in terms of the money that they are using. So that's the cash value. So the question that someone who has got who's providing the funding would ask themselves is this thing affordable? Can I afford it in terms of the money that I have? So that's what a payer is going to ask him or herself. That am I going to be able to afford this? Then a buyer will ask him or herself these questions. What kind of payment is required? What about the engagement that I'm going to have with the cashier or the person who is selling the phone? What experience am I going to have? What information can I get at the till when asking about this product? How's the sales experience? Do they have any warranties? Will I be able to get a refund? So these are the questions that a buyer is going to ask themselves. Then a user will going to ask themselves, how is this phone going to be convenient to me? What about its features? The camera quality, the selfie, the memory. So these are the questions that the user, the person who is going to actually consume this product, are going to ask themselves. So this is the argument that we're supposed to provide on that question. You're supposed to discuss the value that the payer is going to have, the value that the buyer is going to have, and the value that the user is going to have. I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Yes, you're making perfect sense. I understand. I'm actually going through a textbook right now. I'm looking at it.
Okay. So I think the
Yes.
textbook has got an example for bread or milk, if I remember very well. I just don't have a textbook in my presence right now. But you'd realize
Yes,
that
yes, it
with
does.
the textbook, the user would look at the nutritional value. So if I eat this bread, is it going to provide nutrition for my body? Then the payer is going to ask themselves that when I go to the spaza shop or wherever I'm going, what service am I going to get from my friend or from supermarket? Then the payer is going to ask whether this bread is affordable or not. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Understand.
that's what I wanted to discuss with you. I don't think there's anything else other than that that you struggled with, because I just realized that with this question you completely misunderstood it.
Yes, I also remember the question because I did it last because the other ones I just did them all first and then I spent most of my time doing that question. So that was the one that I actually struggled with.
Okay, so it's a good revision for you, because after this F1 we are going to talk about F2. So you need to work on something that you feel like you lacked more energy and put all the energies on the F2. So these are the key terms that you came across in the test. And we have already discussed this. Is there anything that you want us to discuss that you need to work on in order to improve on the next assessment?
I haven't gone through like my F2, so but I'll go through it later on today. So on our next class, I'll probably have like some more questions on it.
Okay. Please feel free to engage with me, especially in class for the benefit of other students. Next week, you are going to meet on campus, which is quite much better. Then we can also have discussions with everyone.
Yes, sir, thank you.
All right. Okay. So, as I said, everyone performed well in this class. And as much as I remember, there's only one person who got less than 50. And most students made an effort in applying the theories to the provided scenarios, whereas one struggled dismally and most answers were left blank. Something that I always discourage, rather say something, don't leave something completely blank. All questions are provided so that you need to give an answer. So the moment you leave it blank, you are actually telling me that you are prepared to get 0 out of all the 10 marks that were allocated at that question. So at least if you say something, at least you can get a 1 or 2 out of it, rather than leaving the question blank. So I think it's a trend that can be alluded to time management, as most students want to do things during last minutes. You've got that pressure and you end up only answering one question. So there was reasonable comprehension of the subject and there was proper use of. The weakness was that most of you guys struggle to use the academic language and to put your thoughts in actual detail, how you want to apply something on that given scenario. But at least everyone submitted, so that was the strength. Even though with all the levels of engagement in class, I was actually expecting that everyone is going to get more than 90%. But I also understand, because this is the first assignment. So with this revision, I'd like to see an improvement. So if you got 70 or if you got 55, it means that in F2, you need to get more than that. It shows that there's improvement. Your marks cannot decrease. Like you got 90% in F1, then in F2, you get 55%. That's a huge decrease. So I need to see improvement in each and every assessment. So you should actually be able to reflect on everything that we have covered. And this session should have helped you gain confidence as you either got affirmation of your master of the concepts and skills taught so far, or have an unclear clarified for your next area clarified for your next assessment. So we have already discussed the area that seem to have been difficult for you, which is user, pair, and buyer. So that shouldn't confuse you on the next assessment. You're also encouraged to understand what was expected of you and what the correct answers should have been. So now you are challenged to know how to tackle the next formative assessment, which is F2. And those who are going to do the supplementary, they also need to work hard on this one so that they avoid common mistakes. So therefore, you are highly encouraged to apply lessons, these lessons that we've discussed, to your next assessments. So is there anything that you'd like to discuss with me right now with regards to the F1 test?
No, sir, not yet. Not anything.
Okay. All right. So we are going to be looking at customer perceptions and learning. But before we do that, let's quickly go through the F2 assignment. Then we'll do today's lesson. Is that okay with you, Benton?
Yes, it's okay. It's fine.
All right.